What up, YouTube? Team Movies here, with Cats in there tomorrow. Oh boy, the movie's not getting good reviews. I'm gonna see Cats on Saturday, but oh god. Anyway, with Cats, in there tomorrow, I decided to go ahead and do my top 10 favorite movies based on Broadway musicals. Now, funny, I was born and raised in New York City, and I still never got to see a Broadway show. I mean, they're not what you call cheap people. But it's always pretty cool when they like adapt a Broadway show, because I mean there's people who probably like me who can't really afford to see no Broadway shows, so they was like, okay, if there's people who can't afford Broadway shows, maybe we'll be able to afford movies. So they always like to make movies based on Broadway shows. But anyway, with that being said, here's my 10 favorite movies based on Broadway shows. All right, coming in at number 10, it is Les Miserables. I almost mispronounced the first name. But now, of course, the first play was in 1987, and it stars Hugh Jackman as John John, who like after 19 years as a prisoner, he ends up being freed by Harvey Javard, played by Russell Crowe, who's the officer in charge of the prison workforce. And so, of course, you also got Anne Hathaway as who ended up winning her Oscar for the role. Of course, she plays the mother of this girl named Cassette. Of course, you got Amanda Seyfried was in this. It's directed by Tom Hooper, who also just directed Cats, and that is why I'm really disappointed that Cats is not doing so great with critics, because Tom Hooper gave us Les Miserables, and he did a really good job with that. So hopefully I'll enjoy Cats, but yeah. Anyway, but Les Miserables is still a really good film. If you guys haven't really seen Les Miserables yet, it has some really great music. Russell Crowe sang, so that was something that happened. But yeah, Les Miserables is a really good one. Coming in at number 9 is another musical that got released in 2012, and that is Rock of Ages. Now, this is of course based on the Broadway show that was like in early 2000, and it's like a jukebox musical built around classic rock songs from the 80s, and it features songs from Journey, Bon Jovi, and you got Tom Cruise as Stacey Jacks. Whoever knew that guy could sing? I mean, it's kind of a bit of a different role for Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise really nailed it. And you also had Julianne Hough, Diego Boneta. You had Paul Giamatti was in this. Great, it's like a throwback of 80s rock and roll. I mean, it has some really great music, some great tunes. And I mean, the movie is very underrated. Like, lots of people did not like the movie at all, but I really thought Rock of Ages was pretty decent. So, all right, coming in at number 8, it is Mamma Mia, based on the Broadway show. Of course, it's about of course, it's based on music by by ABBA. Meryl Streep, who of course plays on this woman named Donna, whose daughter also played by Amanda Seyfried, is preparing for her wedding, but she wants someone to walk her down the aisle, so she try to find out who her real father is. And the three candidates are Pierce Brosnan, Colin Firth, and Stellan Skarsgård. I mean, the first Mamma Mia, of course. I really got a kick out of Mamma Mia, and I probably prefer the sequel a little bit. But the first Mamma Mia, I mean, great cast, great music. I mean, Pierce Brosnan also sang. That actually happened here. I mean, Meryl Streep. Who knew that Meryl Streep could bust out a tune? I mean, kind of weird. Kind of funny hearing Pierce Brosnan sing the song SOS. Of course, there's Honey Honey, Money Money Money, Dancing Queen. I mean, some really iconic songs. Like, even if you're not a fan of ABBA or anything, the music in this is really iconic. Some really great tunes. If you guys haven't really seen Mamma Mia yet, it's a really good film. Alright, coming in at number Coming in at number 7, it is Rent, which is a rock music, which of course is based on the 1994 Broadway. And Rent, I mean, it's directed by Chris Columbus, who also gave us Home Alone, the first 2 Harry Potter films. And like the movie takes place in 1990s, and it's about like, a group of New Yorkers struggling with their careers, and it also takes place during the AIDS epidemic. You got Anthony Rapp, you got Adam Pascal, Rosario Dawson, Tate Diggs, the Flash dude Jesse L. Martin. You had Idina Menzel, and it has some really great tunes like from the song "Season of Love," which is probably Rent's most iconic music. There's also one song "Glory," "Light My Candle," "Today for You," "Take Me or Love Me." And at my old school, when I was in high school, they actually put on a Rent play, and I actually got to videotape it. So, fun fact there. But anyway, yeah, if you guys haven't really seen the Rent movie, it's really good. And the recent like NBC live telecast, that was pretty decent too. Alright. Coming in at number 6, it is Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber's Fleet Street. Now, this is, of course, about a killer barber, played wonderfully by Johnny Depp. It's directed by Tim Burton. A bit of a interesting choice. You got Helen Bonham Carter. You got the late, great Alan Rickman. I mean, come on. This London barber ends up like slim people's throats off. So he's one messed up barber, and it has some really good music. Like you got Joanna, Poor Thing, No Place Like London, or The Worst Pies in London. I mean, this movie is it's a great horror musical based movie. Great performances by Johnny Depp. Probably one of his best performances he's ever given. Because Johnny Depp was terrific in this. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you guys haven't really seen the Sweeney Todd movie, definitely go check it out. I mean, of course, Sweeney Todd was a play that premiered in 1979, and it's a play that still holds up. Like, if you guys haven't really, but the movie is really great. If you guys haven't really seen the Johnny Depp Sweeney Todd film, it's a really good one. Alright. Coming in at number 5, it is The Sound of Music. Now, this is based on the musical by Richard Rodgers, and features lyrics by Oscar Hammerstein II, and based on the book by Harold Lindsay and Russell Cruz. And it's a memoir of Maria Von Trapp and the story of the Trapp family. And of course, you got Julie Andrews in this. You got some really great music here. I mean, you got the Sound of Music theme. You got 16 going on 17. So Long Farewell. Something Good. I Have Confidence. I mean, Julie Andrews is obviously no stranger. Is no stranger when it comes to musicals. I mean, if you guys remember, she was Mary Poppins, people. But Sound of Music is a really iconic film. I mean, it's directed by Robert Wise, who also directed another musical movie that's on my list. I mean, who doesn't love Sound Music? I mean, it's one of the most iconic musicals of the 70s. Julie Andrews. You also had Christopher Plummer was in this. If you guys never really seen Sound of Music by now, it's a really great one. Now, speaking of Robert Wise, coming in at number 4, it is West Side Story. Based on the Broadway musical in 1957. And it's like, I guess you say, like a in the vein of Romeo and Juliet, which is like warring of New York gangs, including the Wet Jets, led by Riff, and the Latino Sharks, led by Bernardo. And of course, you got Rhea Moreno here, who did a great job as Anita. You had Natalie Wood as Maria, Richard Baymer, Russ Tamblyn. You had George Chakiris. I mean, yeah, West Side Story is one of the most is of course a Oscar-winning film, so there's that. It has some great tunes. I mean, the song "I Want to Live in America," "Rumba," "Tonight," "Somewhere," some really great songs. And if you guys don't, and not to mention, if you guys don't remember, there is a remake of West Side Story coming out next December with Steven Spielberg attached to direct. So I'm gonna really look forward to check out that West Side Story remake. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's Spielberg. So maybe the remake will be good, but we'll see. Coming in at number 3, it is Chicago. Now this is of course based on the one of the most iconic plays of the I believe the play premiered like in the 90s or 80s or something. And Chicago has Catherine Zeta-Jones as a nightclub sensation Velma, who got Richard Gere, who plays this Chicago lawyer named Billy Flynn. You got Renee Zellweger as the character Roxy, who ends up in prison. Of course, you got of course Catherine Zeta-Jones. Velma ends up murdering her husband, and you got Richard Gere, who plays her lawyer here. You also had Queen Latifah, John C. Raleigh. It's directed by Rob Marshall, who last directed that Mary Poppins Returns. He also gave us Into the Woods. He's a pretty decent director, especially when it comes to musical-based movies. And I know he did a great job with Chicago. Of course, the movie won Best Picture. It's a really great musical. I mean, it has a classic song, All That Jazz in it.
What's that?
I mean, if you guys haven't really seen the movie Chicago yet, it's a really terrific film. Alright, coming in at number 2, it is Hairspray. Now, Hairspray is really amazing. I mean, it is, of course, technically it is more of a remake, because the original Hairspray got released in the 80s. That was directed by John Waters, but then they turned that into Broadway with really great music. Then the music movie ended up being more of a adaptation of the Broadway show more than the John Waters classic. But still, the 2007 Hairspray. I mean, come on, you had John Travolta as a woman. What more can you ask for there? Of course, you had Queen Latifah was in this. Nikki Blonsky plays Tracy Turnblad. It has some great tunes. I mean, Welcome to the 60s. What else? You Can't Stop the Beat. I mean, it's directed by Adam Shankman, who also gave us Rock of Ages, by the way. Hairspray has some really amazing tunes. Of course, you also had Michelle Pfeiffer was in this. You had Christopher Walken, Brittany Snow, Zac Efron, James Marsden. I mean, what more can you ask for when it comes to Hairspray? If you guys haven't really seen Hairspray by now, give it a go. And I still a little disappointed we never got to see a sequel, but Alright, my number 1 favorite musical movie based on a Broadway show goes to Grease. Speaking of John Travolta, obviously. Grease, I mean, with John Travolta as Danny Zuko, Olivia Newton-John as Sandy, directed by Randall Kaiser. Come on, it does have some of the best music there is. There's of course Summer Loving, Grease Lightning, we Go Together, Freddie My Love. I mean, what not to love about the music of Grease? And John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John's on-screen chemistry is just perfect. And speaking of, who actually saw I think it was an Instagram post that I think Newton-John posted up that featured John Travolta and her reuniting in their Grease uniforms. That was pretty cool to watch. Anyway, Grease, yeah, it's also one of the best musicals there is. I mean, it is also, like I said, it is based on a play that first came to Broadway in 1971, and John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John they both just had some of the best chemistry, like romantic chemistry you'll see on screen. I mean, if you guys haven't really seen Grease yet, it's definitely one of the most iconic musicals there is. I kind of like Grease 2 as well, but the first Grease is the best. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. 10, Les Miserables. 9, Rock of Ages. 8, Mamma Mia. 7, Rent. 6, Sweeney Todd. 5. The Sound of Music. 4. West Side Story. 3. Chicago. 2. Hairspray. And number 1 is Grease. Now, there's loads of other ones I probably could have added. Let me see. Hair is another good one. Gypsy, Guys and Dolls, Annie. There's of course Hedwig and the Angry Inch. On the Town's a good one. I think The Wiz. Yeah, The Wiz. Jersey Boys is actually pretty decent. Let's see what else is here. There's of course Damn Yankees, Dreamgirls, Evita, and of course we got other Broadway based movies coming out in the near future. Like we got In the Heights. We got the Wicked movie. So we got some other stuff to look forward to. But anyway, let me leave you guys. What are some of your favorite musical movies based on Broadway shows? And bonus question,
Tommy.
Bonus question, what Broadway show would you love to see get turned into a movie? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Team Moose signing up.